The barge she sat in, like a burnished throne, burned on the water. The poop was beaten gold, purple the sails, and so perfumed that the winds were lovesick with them. The oars were silver, which to the tune of flutes kept stroke, and made the water which they beat to follow faster, as amorous of their strokes. For her own person it beggared all description. She did lie in her pavilion, cloth of gold, of tissue, or picturing that Venus where we see the fancy outwork nature. On each side her stood pretty dimpled boys, like smiling cupids, with divers coloured fans, whose wind did seem to glow the delicate cheeks which they did cool, and what they undid did, oh, rare for Antony. So that was not a sonnet. That was an excerpt from a speech that the character Enobarbus gives describing Cleopatra in Shakespeare's Antony and Cleopatra. The reason I'm doing this particular excerpt is that that particular section makes an appearance in a play that I'm going to be doing this coming November. I'm going to be in a production of Arcadia, being produced at the Hatbox Theatre in Concord. And my character, Septimus, has to recite some of that speech. It just so happens that Antony and Cleopatra is one of my favorite Shakespeare plays. I took a class on Shakespeare in college, and for my final paper, I wrote about Antony and Cleopatra. What I love about this speech kind of captures one of the more compelling elements of Antony and Cleopatra, which is the distorted perception we have of celebrities, because that's essentially what Cleopatra and Antony were at the time. They were celebrities. They were people of status who were past their prime, but had this reputation to go along with them. And so when Enobarbus is describing Cleopatra, he uses phrases like, it beggared all description. It's, what a cop-out, Shakespeare. It's undescribably beautiful. These are people, though. These are people. They're not aliens. They're not supernatural beings. They're people. And that is a lot... that is a theme throughout Antony and Cleopatra, is these personalities that are given this weight that is not really accompanied by substance or equivalent substance, I suppose. Enobarbus' character, for example, is essentially Antony's right-hand man through most of the play, but Antony is not the renowned, leader of men that, he has fallen from that. He is fallen into all sorts of vices. He's lazy. He's out of shape. He's abandoned his responsibilities, and he's not the person that he has changed from the person that Enobarbus knew. And this leads to Enobarbus making a difficult decision to essentially abandon Antony in a time of need. And what that represents is that, a reputation is only as good as the substance in the given moment behind it, right? So Antony had this reputation, but he was not backing it up with meaningful action at the time. He was, and it is why Antony and Cleopatra is a tragedy, because he ends up fighting Octavius Caesar, and he should win. Like, he is an expert military commander, was an expert military commander, and that is his ultimate undoing, is that he in the critical moments, he ends up being distracted by Cleopatra, and he doesn't lead his men effectively, and it results in his eventual demise in the play. And so yeah, it's but especially so right in today's society, 2017, we live in a culture of celebrities, and so I think it's more relevant than ever, and especially with things like social media and this kind of public face of personalities of individuals, right? Like each individual puts pictures up on Facebook and puts things that they want people to see on Facebook or other social media, but it's not wholly representative of the person behind those kind of images or whatever. So yeah, it's I mean I really love the play. It's a play I'd like to see a full stage production of. It's so rarely produced. It's really long. It's really long. It also hops around the world scene wise. There's all sorts of different transitions between Egypt and Rome, and it goes. It's a nightmare for a technical director to have to figure out how to stage that. And build a set that you can so rapidly go between Rome and Egypt, and it isn't, not having seen any productions, I'd like to think you could do a minimalist production, but the reality is that there's so much to the lavish, I mean that whole speech, the barge she sat in like a burnished throne, this huge, larger than life description of the physical luxury. Is daunting to think about producing. But anyway, I'm getting a little distracted. So I'm going to be doing more pieces focused on things that will help me prepare for Arcadia. Expect to see that I'll be doing some pieces set in written in the early 1800s. So poets like Byron. Maybe some others, but I'll definitely be doing some Byron. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing for the next few weeks leading up to November. So thanks for watching. Happy Sunday.